You guys sent me some more underground metal on Bandcamp. Let's check it out together. Alright, let's kick things off with Veriteras, with the Citadel EP, Seattle, Washington band. Forgive me if I'm saying your band name wrong. Veriteras? Veriteras? We got some symphonic elements here. And melodic death metal. Inspired by Scandinavian scene. Awesome. I really like those kind of like Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth synths. Ooh, this little melody there. This is my stuff right here, y'all. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love that kind of like early 2000s melodic death metal scene. Dark Tranquility, In Flames, Soilwork to an extent. At the Gates. Good stuff. Got kind of a rock and roll intro on this one. More of a head bobber here. That's cool. Got some piano going on here. Yeah, let's bring a little bit of those like Dark Tranquility vibes with the softer parts. Great melodies. They're really capturing that same kind of energy that I used to get from those bands. Speechless. Really good. It's all about getting those right guitar melodies most of the time. And they're just nailing them. Could see these guys getting a similar level of attention as like Silence Lies Fear. Got some clean singing on here too. That's really solid. I'm digging it. Again, that is Veriteras with Citadel. Alright, then we have Pray for Nothing with Kivshan out of Israel, Tel Aviv. More kind of like melodic death metal vibes, sounds like here. Yep. Progressive and technical also in the tags. Like this riff. A little pinch harmonics in there. Kind of a touch of Lamb of God, too. Whenever I hear like groove-heavy riffs with pinch harmonics thrown in a lot, I think Lamb of God. This is kind of like Lamb of God mixed with like In Flames and Soilwork. Really solid. See some other songs here. Production's really solid. Yeah, you got that was an In Flames riff right there. Hell yeah. Speaking my language. I miss the glory days of melodic death metal where that was like the big genre. And now it's just like not really so much. Kind of peaked and now just kind of it can be hard to find good stuff. So I'm happy for this segment where I get to come across some stuff I would have otherwise missed. Yeah, both of these bands really solid. Ooh, a little build here. That was kind of a little Lamb of God moment there too. Yeah, this is very Lamb of God there. Ashes of the Wake, kind of as the palaces burn era stuff. But then this more melodic stuff again. Really cool. Yeah, I could just sit here and listen to this whole album because this is exactly the kind of stuff that I love to listen to the most. But again, that is Pray for Nothing with Kivshan. Right, then we have Vrag with Harcom out of Hungary. Alright, back to some globetrotting. Last episode, by the way, thank y'all for making last episode probably the most successful episode to date. It was like almost an hour long because y'all said you liked the longer ones, and probably the most views and most watch time. So let's do it again. But yeah, I was going to say though, despite having 26 bands on that one, I felt like we didn't do as much globe-trotting, so I'm hoping today we get a little bit more diversity. And so far, we're off to a good start. Digging this too, this classic second wave vibes. Love this album art with the little trees in the logo. Kind of reminds me of the new Nocturnal Mortem logo, but mixed a little bit with, you know, older stuff like Burzum. Definitely getting some kind of Burzum vibes. Also a little bit of Enslaved, a little Emperor. That kind of early era stuff, but with better production. But they left just enough edge on it, though, that it's still got that kind of rawness to it. It's quite lovely in a way, too. Oh yeah, look at that classic black metal band photo right there. You got the invisible orange, the face paint, you're in the woods. You've checked all the boxes, my good sir. My hat's off to you. Incredible. The one thing for me personally is that when it comes to this like early style second wave black metal approach, the longer songs just don't do it for me, because it ends up just like repeating so much. Obviously I'm just like skipping through, so I'm not really getting a great sense of the dynamics and changes and stuff. I'm hearing some of them, but all that repetition tends to just bore the heck out of me. But some people absolutely love that. Like, they love that kind of monotonous, depressive vibe to it, and so more power to you. I'm not here to say that like it shouldn't be that way. It's just my personal taste. I think that this sound works better in shorter doses. Yeah, definitely getting those like kind of droning, depressive vibes, but throwing in some really good like fast, aggressive stuff here too. But yeah, I dig what I'm hearing. That is Vrag with Harcom. Alright, we have Dalisay with Trahedya Dalisay at Ketungin. That is the best you're gonna get out of me. It's out of the Philippines. We'll get back to the beginning here. What do we got here? Like Doom? We got death metal. Kind of like death doomy riff here. This cover is interesting. I really like the logo. It has a kind of like Silent Hill vibe to it. Very, very aggressive. Some like Blackened vibes too. Those guitars are very black metal-y on this part. It's very raw. I don't get a lot of music out of the Philippines either. We've done a few, but keeping that globe-trotting going strong. This is very like chaotic and noisy, but in a good way. Bass sounds kind of cool too. It gets a little buried, but if you're listening with headphones, the bass is like doing some cool stuff. Some more like straight up blast beats on this part. It's interesting, this song sounds a bit different from the previous song. Even the production sounds a little different. This one feels a little bit more straight death metal, whereas that one was mixing like the death doom and a bunch of other stuff into it. Then they each all kind of have their own little flavor to it. The guitar sound on this one sounds different too. So I'd be curious to hear from the band, you know, were these recorded in different settings or at different times with different equipment? By necessity could be the case too. But that would be one thing I'd work on is, yeah, and again, this one sounds completely different too. This sounds more like the first song. Personally, I like this sound. I think this fits you the best. This is what I'm enjoying the most. This more kind of cavernous, reverb-filled, like, tomb sound that, again, we got on this, like, earlier stuff. Go with that. Like, that, I think that's your sound. That's the way to go. Oh, and then you pick up for the more blackened, kind of compressed sound and stuff. Maybe it's just because the guitar's louder in certain sections, I don't know, but what I'm liking the most is this big, echoey, evil-sounding stuff. Yeah, definitely onto something here. And there's some unique qualities to it. But again, that is Dalisay with this album title that's You Got Me to Say It Once, and I'm not going to say it again. Alright, we have Impery with Cristo Fue Mortal from Venezuela. Obviously, it's from 2019, but I don't shy away from requests from older albums. More kind of second wave. This is a kind of blackened heavy episode. A lot of black metal, black and death metal. Oh yeah, this is that much more raw, classic style second wave production here, where everything's sort of buried. I always have mixed feelings about it. Sometimes you can pull it off. I think this does it better than some, in that the instrumentation still sounds pretty crisp. But it's still, like, it's so buried. I would kind of like to bring it a little bit more forward. I like the vocals. They have this kind of, like, croaky, raspy quality to them. There's another band in the back of my head that has kind of similar vocals. It's just not coming to me right now. Typical. I think this is our first request from Caracas, though. Maybe from Venezuela entirely. I can't remember. The Sons of Samuel. And Lilith. This one's a little dronier. And that's kind of more... Ooh. A little change up here. Kind of a D beat going on there. Now you can like barely hear the bass kick. There we go, there it is. Kind of cool. You know, pretty typical second wave stuff. Heard plenty of it. But, you know, enjoyable. Name your price too. Can't ever go wrong with that. So if you're out there watching and you just wanted yourself some more of them classic second wave sounds, then Impery seems like it could be the band for you. Alright, next up we've got This Is Not a Game of Who the Fuck You Are with 101010 Redux. That's quite a name. Also, we're in Sweden now. 56 sec, what is this? That's like 648. Kind of more of a... Ooh. A little bit of like a mathcore vibe on here. So metal, experimental, hardcore. Yeah. That was a cool little switch. I like stuff like that. Ooh. Let me hear that transition. Ooh. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's kind of neat. I'm really curious where this band name comes from. This is not a game of who the fuck you are. It almost sounds like it came from something. Yeah, a lot of like, kind of like late 90s, very early 2000s mathcore vibes on here. A little bit of Converge. More than a little Converge, actually, I would say. But mixed in with some other... Maybe even a little bit of... Ooh. That little bass break. That's very like the number 12. This is cool. Y'all know I love me some of that old school mathcore and metalcore stuff. Ooh. Let me hear that again, that intro. Oh yeah. That is so peak early metalcore right there. A little breakdown. This is cool. Really digging it. I love that their name is so long too, that this is their logo. Even when you abbreviate it, it's still like almost a full word. Yeah, this is neat. Oh, check another box. We've got the necessary spoken word section that every 2000s metalcore band had. Ooh. That's cool. I really like this. It's very interesting. I think there's some room for growth in terms of the production, mostly. But I really dig the sound. And share this, y'all. If you like this style of music, I want other people to hear it. So this is not a game of who the fuck you are with 10-10-10 Redux. Alright, the return of Haiduk with Diabolica. Covered these guys a few times before, mostly in written reviews in the past, with some of these other albums. I think starting with Demonicon, all the way back in 2015. Really love the sound of this band. They have this really interesting guitar sound. It's like super jangly. Reminds me a little bit of Absu, but with much deathier vocals. I've described it as like black and thrash, but it's kind of like not what you'd normally expect from black and thrash. Yeah, a lot of like tapping. As you can hear, taps and pull-offs is just constant. And it just makes for this really unique kind of style. Ooh. Yeah, highly recommend, because they're really cool. I've enjoyed everything that Haiduk has put out. Demonicon in particular I really enjoyed. Exomancer I also enjoyed, but if I recall, I kind of like Demonicon a little bit better. But from what I'm hearing so far, I'm really digging these new tunes. But yeah, that guitar sound, it always gets me, and that's always front and center. Like, the vocals are almost secondary, really. The vocals remind me more of like Abyssal. Yeah, just raging. I love the speed of it. Like, I'm kind of a sucker for things that are just like super lightning fast. And it's, you know, it's fairly technical too, it seems like. But yeah, you see, like, that's their like trademark sound. And yet they managed to like carry it through so many different kind of sounds and approaches, and so it doesn't get old either. And songs are nice and tight too. As you can see, there's like only 2 songs over 3 minutes here. So less is more. I say this all the time, and I feel like Haiduk gets that. But yeah, check out Haiduk for sure. And again, this album is called Diabolica. Then we have Sinniht with Beyond the Liminal out of Ohio. I didn't say where. I forget where Haiduk is from. Leave it in the tags. Canada. They're out of Canada. Now we're in Ohio. Oh, going from the lightning fast to the super slow, like molasses. I do like this album cover. Fits the sound. Man, those vocals are weird. That's a cool photo too. I'm guessing this is a one-man project based on that. Cool little symbol going on. I like the color scheme. It's like we just get 4 songs here. Very like doomy but weird, with like almost like primacy sounding bass. Curious about this longer track here. It's kind of drony too. Those vocals are super weird, super unique. I don't even know how to describe them. It's just like a rasp with kind of like a death croak. It's just like a continuous death croak. Again, you know, I've said it before, not normally my style when it comes to metal. Not a huge doom guy, but I like things that are interesting and that turn my head, and this definitely does that. So I'll be interested. Let me know down in the comments, for those of you who are bigger doom fans than I, what do you think of this project? Again, that is Sinniht with Beyond the Liminal. Alright, very excited to share this next one. Regular viewers will recognize Lou Kelly, who we've covered before. And by the way, if you're not one of those regular viewers, then you should probably hit that subscribe button, because I put out like 4 videos a week. I try to do one of these every month. But anyways, Lou Kelly, awesome guy, awesome musician. If you like weird stuff like Mike Patton, then this is the stuff for you. His last one was kind of like a weird sort of like Tom Waits jazz man kind of thing, but this one is more sort of chaotic. Just, I don't even know how to describe his music. I really don't. Like, it's got brass and a lot of like cool percussion, very kind of janky. He's sort of associated with the mathcore scene, even though I wouldn't call him like a mathcore musician. And then this album, yeah, just listen to that. He's got so many just like crazy things going on. And then a lot of guest vocalists coming in just doing weird stuff. I kind of compared it to Phantomus a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I love these titles too. Smooth jazz implies the existence of rough jazz. It certainly does. Yeah, just absolute insanity, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And then you've got weird little asides with this more kind of chill stuff, but then back into it again with just more of the insanity. I like this one too, the shape of Punk's receding hairline. This is so Mike Patton, that part right there. The D beat and everything. Just a great time, highly recommended album, and this won't be the last time you hear me talk about it. More than likely, it's going to end up in my best of the month overall. But yeah, that is Lou Kelly with Shriek. Next up we have Laang with Xinteng, or Taiwan. This has been sitting in my stuff for a little while now, but it's finally out. We've got a few people in the Discord who have been looking forward to this coming out. Black metal about the afterlife. Kind of a like post-black vibe to it. Lots of atmosphere, but still definitely heavy. I'm on the fence with the vocals. With those guitars. It's almost like a little like metalcore guitar part right there. Reminds me of something from like Killswitch Engage. I know that's blasphemous to bring up when you're talking about a black metal musician, but I call it like I see it. Ooh, got some nice piano here. I like the fusions, personally. There's almost no such thing as a bad fusion, as long as you do it well. Lots of good piano on here. Very kind of emotional sounding too, fitting to the concept. One tiny gripe about the album artwork, for some reason the way that this logo is interlaid over the art itself just feels off to me. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I could definitely see myself chilling out, spending more time listening to this one. It's very big too. And just listen to that production, it just sounds massive. It swings pretty heavily into like the post-hardcore kind of sound too. But just like on the dang verge of being symphonic. But yeah, that is Laang with Xinteng. Then we have why you gotta do this to me? Etxegina? Man, putting a T and an X together in that order is just mean. Haraderos del Silencio. That I can say more accurately. Which is interesting because I think that's Spanish, but they're from Paris. So maybe I'm crazy. But we got more black metal here. More kind of traditional second wave style. I like this cover. This like Titan type situation. cool jangly little guitars. Reminds me a little bit of like Toke. Some other things too. Production's good. It's another example of a band kind of walking that line, maintaining that raw second wave vibe, but without completely just washing out all the instrumentation. Just 4 songs, little EP here. It's only €2 to buy. This one's kind of a little folky almost. This kind of just plodding sound. I like the layered guitars here. Oh, picks up. Nice. Got blast beat going. What else we got? La Montaña. I'd be interested to hear somebody pronounce the band name much better than I did. Etxegina. It's probably the best I'm gonna get. Pretty dynamic too. We got this like softer stuff going on here. Yeah, ooh. Very drifty, kind of atmospheric stuff going on this final track as well. A little bit doomy. A little bit depressive. But not too far. Bands like that kind of like just aren't really my thing, but I'm still enjoying this. Good stuff. That is Etxegina with Haraderos del Silencio. Then we have Waves in Autumn with Leatherback. It's just a single they sent me. It's an Italian band. Ooh. Pretty catchy. Kind of that like mix of sort of genty metalcore with alternative rock. I could see this playing well with like the Linkin Park crowd. Maybe even a little bit of Architects. Pretty catchy riff, nice little hook. Some sing-along parts, the vocals actually sound pretty good. They do describe themselves as a metalcore band. And even though, you know, I don't really like Asking Alexandria or Bullet for My Valentine, but I could also see this appealing to that particular crowd. So again, they're kind of fusing the more sort of mainstream rock sound with the heavier elements. But this does it better, I think. Like, I like how it's still managing to stay heavy. So yeah, you have to go check out the whole song. That's all they've sent me. I know they do have some other stuff on here too from 2021. Oh, this is going full on like pop territory. I don't know how I feel about that. That always like gives me those Imagine Dragons vibes, and I'm just not down with that sound, especially in my metal. I know I just said that like there's no such thing as a bad fusion, but for me that's just not my style. Yeah, we got the more like vaguely rapped vocals here too. Yeah, just being honest. Ooh, okay, got the D beat. That's nice. But being honest, I like Leatherback a lot more than this song. We got a couple other tracks on here you can check out too. But again, that is Waves in Autumn. We got Pharmacist with Carnal Pollution. This is just some filthy death metal, kind of death grindy stuff from Japan. Japan's just always got some of the most vile stuff out there, I swear. Just 4 tracks. Old school grinding death metal decomposition is how they put it. I love this album cover too. It's just very fitting to the sound, just disgusting. Got a little bit of like Melodeath in there too. There's some like Swedish Melodeath vibes in that guitar sound there and the riffs. I suppose you could even draw maybe some comparisons to like Carcass, since they're fusing those worlds. Ooh, that's kind of a Carcassy riff right there too. Sounds like something from Heartwork. Oh, that's very Carcass. Now, the more I think about it now, I can't unhear it. Listen to that. Those are Bill Steer riffs right there. But they're killing it. I very nearly considered having this in another video. Maybe it'll end up there. But yeah, it's quality. This was, to be fair, also not something that was a direct band request like it normally is. This was a promo from the label. Yeah, a lot of Carcass influence on here, and now I'm like really digging it even more now that I've sort of unlocked the cheat code to kind of understanding what's going on here. Oh, this is great. Yeah, it just seems like a total straight-up banger of an EP, but also with some like decent dynamics, some other stuff going on. Yeah, that is Pharmacist with Carnal Pollution. Then we have Dome Runner with Conflict State Design. If I recall. Yeah, I was going to say industrial metal stuff, which I'm always excited to get, because there's just not enough of it these days. And this is out of Finland. I don't think I've ever had an industrial band out of Finland. It's interesting. Kind of going with the Godflesh rule book, I would say. Even this album art reminds me of like that 90s style. It's got that street cleaner look to it. Dome Runner, let me know if that was the intention with that. Ooh, we got some faster stuff here too. Putting in those thrashy guitars, kind of like Ministry. Solid riffs. Good production too. It kind of gives it that nostalgic vibe, but again, you can hear everything. Yo, let me also know, I had a request from a patron to turn the volume up a little bit, so I tried to do that this episode. Let me know if it sounds good, if I should turn it up even more. I'm trying not to, you know, wash my own voice out, but a bunch of riffs on here. Good head bobber here. Yeah, also very Godfleshy. Lots of great atmosphere. Got that kind of like sludgy, gross feel to it too, that I really appreciate. Name your own price too. Always a fan of that. There is no reason to not check this out. No paywall in front of you. Although I always say, you know, throw them a buck or two at least. More if you can. So I think it's worth it. We need more industrial metal. Cool stuff. Yeah, again, that is Dome Runner with Conflict State Design. And then we have Suffering Sights with When Sanity Becomes Insanity. Simple title there. This is from a Chilean label. I'm not positive if they're a Chilean band. Kind of speed metal, thrash metal, first wave black metal vibes too. Stuff like Venom. So a little bit of that like blackened thrash. Nice. Good riffage here. Another good example of solid atmosphere that kind of really captures that sort of late 80s sound. Also got that rawness to it, all those little imperfections that make stuff like Venom have so much character. I do enjoy me some thrashy black metal. My favorite kind of thrash metal. And speed metal. This would play well along stuff like Destroyer 666. Yeah, solid, fun riffs, gets you headbanging. I see how this would be really fun live too. Seems like songs aren't like over long either, which sometimes I'll see bands in this style doing that. Excellent. Yeah, very fun. But yeah, that is Suffering Sights with When Sanity Becomes Insanity. Alright, something I threw on here because I wanted to talk about it before the Best of the Month, which this will almost assuredly make, and that is the latest from Frontier, and holy cow, this thing frickin' kills. If you like crazy, genty, laser beam sounding metalcore, mathcore, whatever you want to call it, you need to know Frontier. I'm guessing those of you out there who already are in the scene know who they are, because they're kind of a staple of modern stuff. Getting shoutouts from pretty big channels too. But yeah, if you're into stuff like Carbomb, then you're gonna want some of this. If you're less familiar with that, maybe Psyopus is a decent comparison for you. I've been thrown around. Just lots of weird, crazy guitar work. There's guest appearances here from Will Haven and Ion Dissonance. My personal favorite track right now is Southern Hemorrhage. That's just like a party starter right there. Just listen to that. It's just pure insanity. And just so much fun. I will say it's on the longer side. It's like almost an hour and 16 tracks. Day Dark is a great track too. But I'm telling you, repeat listens will reward you, because there's just like so many blink and you'll miss it little details. And like I said, it's one of my favorite albums of the month already. But yeah, you should definitely check these guys out, and check out their previous material too. Again, that is Frontier, and this album is called Oxidized. Then we have Heartfail with Gray. It's Greenwich, Connecticut projects. Not sure what to expect. Going into this one like totally blind. Experimental metal is the primary tag. Death grind, glitch, industrial, mathcore in the tags again. It's definitely weird. Let me get my finger on what's going on here. What the fuck is up Denny's? It says in the end of the description. Very like noise oriented. Oh, yeah, quiet there. Get a little groove going here. Interesting. Ooh, I like that bass in the intro. Kind of chill drums here. Get chill to this. It's like some Twin Peaks music. I'm guessing that the kind of lo-fi production is purposeful, but I do feel like it detracts a little bit. I don't like that cymbal sound in particular. It's a little distracting. It's got this very messy feel to it. I like this guitar though. Ooh. A little Frontier to that guitar. Definitely different. One of the standout ones in terms of just like not sounding like anything else I'm listening to right now. I'm having trouble even like comparing it to things, which is always kind of impressive. I'm pretty quick with the FFO, usually. Not here. Crunchy, noisy, weird. Definitely experimental. I suppose that's the fitting tag here. Keyword. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. It's definitely interesting, so definitely go check this out for yourself. This is Heartfail with Gray. Alright, then we have the 21st Agenda back with Cry Wolf. Just a single here right now. Covered them previously with Wilt and their self-titled EP. Another kind of hardcore band. A pretty straightforward hardcore track here. Sometimes they go a little bit more in the mathcore vein. I like that bass. if you can hear it. Short song here too. Got a lot of those like botch vibes. I also feel like, you know, y'all could use a little bit like stronger production. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on, but I feel like the mix doesn't fully capture it. Maybe just a little bit more bass. A little bit more to like kind of just make a fuller sound. But yeah, I definitely think you can capture those botch listeners out there like myself. I've enjoyed the previous stuff too. I remember liking Wilt quite a bit. But yeah, that is their new single, Cry Wolf. If you want to hear the whole thing, just hop over to their page and check it out. Alright, another one I threw in here is Grizzlor, back again with Hammer of Life. And these guys, highly recommended for fans of Primus. They've got that like 90s sound just down. Out of New Haven, Connecticut. If you like, you know, like Sailing on the Seas of Cheese, Pork Soda, this is just straight up that. And it's so good. Like, Primus is such a one-of-a-kind band, so it's really interesting to find another band that does it. They've had a bunch of releases. I became familiar with them actually with this EP with Godstopper they did in 2017, but they have a bunch of stuff you can check out. And I just miss those old Primus vibes with that kind of like 90s grungy alternative turn to it. Their newer stuff just like isn't the same. But to capture that atmosphere is just so special. Especially as somebody who grew up in the 90s. It just transports me back. But just listen to that. It's just straight up like Pork Soda. The guitars, the bass, the vocals. They're even a little bit more aggro, I'd say, than Primus. Yeah, though. Just listen to all that. Like, what else do I need to say? I could just repeat over and over again, like, sounds like Primus. I haven't listened to the full thing yet, but everything I've sampled so far is maybe some of their best work to date. So yeah, if you're a big Primus fan like myself, and you just like kind of that weird 90s alternative sound in general, then you need to check out Grizzlor, not only Hammer of Life, but their entire discography probably. Alright, then we have Carchosa with Realms, out of Sweden. Some melodic death metal here, a little bit more. Some good chugs here, but also some good melodies. Ooh, we got some vocal variety here. A little dual vocal action right there, too. I like the alternation of the highs and lows. A little groove metal-y, too, I would say. Ooh. Here comes the solo. Now that I like. Ooh, more here, too. Sounds like some dueling guitars. Yeah, I think the vocal production could use a little work. Got some acoustic here. The guitars sound great. Oh, got some female leads here too. Like that. Good variety here. Yeah, I think overall, I like this a lot. Overall, I like what I'm hearing. I just think that those harsh vocals could use a little bit work. They sound a little bit kind of thin to me. Not enough power behind them. Production doesn't quite make them pop like the rest of the instrumentation. They're a little raspy. So if you wanted a little bit of constructive criticism, that's what I got. Very Alien-inspired cover. Definitely like that. Big Alien fan. Yeah, the guitar work here is really good. Man, another solo. Ooh.
creepy stuff going on. Is this a concept album? So I'm definitely getting that vibe that this is like a sci-fi concept thing. This has a little bit of like a Megadeth vibe on that riff. But yeah, overall good stuff. That is Carchosa or Carchosa with Realms. Alright, then we have Born with Hair with When the Witches Fall. Don't have a location in their description. Let's see if it's in the tags. We got Art House Metal, Avant-Garde Metal, Blackened Death Rock. Just says United States. So I don't have a exact location here. Might be in the bio. Yeah, already this is not what I expected. I mean, I looked at this cover and just expected pure black metal. Great cover, by the way. Yeah, with lo-fi in the tags, I definitely hear that too. Interesting. The end picture too. This is so weird. You know, it actually reminds me of something like that the Armed would do. And by the way, the Armed that I got to do like secret screening of their new kind of like video to go along with their album. And it's really good. It's just really well shot, cool to look at, and then it's got like a lot of like weird Twin Peaks vibes to kind of the connecting story, if you can even call it that. So highly recommend giving that a watch this October. But yeah, this has that kind of like the Armed, Crystal Castles kind of vibe to it. It's hard to nail down though. Just very different from anything else that we've listened to today. That's for sure. I like this one. It's got kind of like a Portishead energy to it. Yeah, very weird, but very interesting. And you all know me, I'm all about interesting. Those usually end up being my favorite albums of the year that actually stick with me. There's so much out there that just sounds the same. So yeah, if you want something a little bit more experimental, a little bit different, check out Born with Hair with When the Witches Fall. Alright, we have Warm Gadget back once again with a new single, and it's a cover, or I shouldn't say cover, it's a remix of Health's Black Static. Great combo. If you've not heard them on previous episodes, Warm Gadget are kind of an industrial metal band. Mixing a lot of vibes of like Godflesh, Nine Inch Nails, Skinny Puppy, Ministry, even a little like Filter, stuff like that. Yeah, as always, I'm not going to play the full track. If you want to do that, go over to their Bandcamp page and check it out. But I'm a big fan of these guys. So obviously, because I keep featuring them. But I'm always happy to help out some industrial metal. They do such a good job of orchestrating their electronic elements. The production all sounds really good. Vocals are kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm digging it. It's interesting. So yeah, just one song, but once again, Warm Gadget, cool guys, solid band. Check out their Bandcamp. Alright, 30 Seconds Go with a self-help guide to your nervous breakdown. I was wondering if I covered this previously, because I really dig 30 Seconds Go. I know I did a reaction to one of the videos at some points, but this came out at the end of September, so I don't think I covered the full album. Maybe I just shouted it out. But once again, if you like MySpace core, mathcore, that kind of vibe, these guys are out of They're out of Maine, and they've got that more kind of like sassy, experimental vibe. Big mixture of a lot of different other elements. They even say in their bio they mix in deathcore, gent, metalcore, Lots of different instruments. Nice little chugger here. Oh, this is the song. I know the song. I like this one. It's got a guest spot from Sean Richmond. Ooh, the vocals on this one are great. I love those like kind of like Daughtersy number 12 sort of cleans. And then you've got that. It's like a rabid animal. That stuff is just my favorite. It just takes me back to a completely different time for this type of music, and it's cool to see some of it coming back. Shout out, as always, to Mathcore Index, their podcast, Mathcast, reminding me that this had come out, so I didn't pass it by. Little piano in there. We got Robbie Smith on this one. Ooh, that scream. It's just like demented in places. Lots of good dynamics. And then this. This seeming like coming out of nowhere there. Yeah, I like when these songs really sort of take you places, and this whole album, it's got a lot of weird, interesting stuff going on. So if that sounds up your alley, check out 30 Seconds Go with a self-help guide to your nervous breakdown. Then we have Svartpunk by Drittmasken out of Norway. This has been sitting in my queue for a while because it just hadn't come out yet, and now it finally is. Love that cover. Very eye-catching. Very detailed, too. Reminds me of Mr. Curly from Zombie Shark. Does a lot of this really bright neon monster kind of artwork. Yeah, black metal mixed with thrash and punk. Interesting little, almost folky vocals there. Ooh, a little like Spanish guitar interlude. That's a cool way to end out that song. I hate though when bands, oh, that's the last song. I hate when bands highlight the last song. It feels almost, that's as close to like, I usually make fun of people when they talk about like albums or songs being spoiled for them. Oh, here we go. Here's the punking kind of crossover elements. Oh, not rude. But anyways, yeah, when they use the last song for the highlight, it does kind of feel like a spoiler in a way. Good energy to these ones. Totally different. First song and last song. Very like night and day. So we're getting some variety here. It's just driving beat on this one. A lot of that punk rock energy. We get those jangly guitars in here. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary around drums all the time, which is funny because I did drum for a while, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I believe that's a skank beat. Any drummers out there, correct me on that, because I do like to get these things right and somewhat know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm a fan of punk, like legit punk. I like pop punk too, but I also love me some Dead Kennedys and also stuff like Toxic Narcotic. A little crusty too. Ooh, nice mix of the black metal vocals with the punk energy on that one. Those two genres go together really well because I feel like they, in some ways, have kind of a similar mentality, just to a different degree, rebelling against sort of different things in a way, but rebellious nonetheless. And then the early instrumentation, you look at bands like Mayhem back in the early days of the second wave, and there is a ton of punk in their sound. Yeah, match made in heaven. Or hell. Dun dun dun. I'm sorry. Yeah, sounds like a lot of good stuff here. So yeah, if you want some punky black metal, check out Drittmasken with Svart Punk. Alright, y'all, that is plenty for today. Let me know, as always, down in the comments which one was your favorite, which albums did you end up picking up and buying. You can also send more requests for future episodes to the Metal Trenches email, and also support me on Patreon just to keep this train going. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.